Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the round 6 preview here, and we're going to have a look at, we'll go through the major ins for team lists. Obviously, there's been a couple of, one major injury now coming out after team list, which is unfortunately Zach Lomax, which, people are like, I got to say, I still wasn't keen. He wouldn't let you down. If you went Lomax on the wing, he would do a fantastic job. But still, without Moses there, and then by the time Moses would be back, like Origin would be getting near. So I wasn't keen, but I could understand people's desire. But yeah, now Lomax is gone for an extended period of time. It does open the door for a potential cheapie, but he's probably also not... Actually, yeah, he's not worth it. I know Samrani is on the bubble, but Bailey Simonson is also due back potentially this week, but it could be next week or the week after. So yeah, the cheapie that could be on offer is definitely not worth it. There's a couple of cheapies on the horizon in the back row stocks. Obviously, Dylan Egan and Thomas Cant. So we'll have a look. Obviously, let's have a quick squiz at the draw coming up. So Thursday night, we have Dolphins Penrith. The major ones there, which is great to see Max Plath moving back to lock. Gilbert back from suspension. I'm not getting Plath this week. I think there's far more pressing trades. But if Plath is going to just... I still don't know why Christian Wolf had the reverse order for the first couple of weeks. Why on earth was Plath in the back row and Gilbert playing at lock? It didn't make any sense, but he's finally seen the light. It makes Plath, I think probably the most reliable, consistent dummy half option for the season. You might eventually want to pick up a Grant if he starts to find form. I'm definitely not going him yet. After Origin, maybe he starts getting some attack. I don't know. Connor Watson is obviously there as well, but Max Plath for me, I'm keen to see him go this week. I really want to see what the minutes are like for him playing lock. I think he's going to play big minutes, and he's a beast. He's got a bit of attacking upside, so I love the look of Plath now at dummy half. Penrith, couple of big ones. Obviously, Edwards back. Jenkins still at centre, which is good. Would you rather him in centre on the wing? I don't know. I think either or is fine. He's got great base stats. Could score some tries in the Panthers backline with a couple of good matchups. So Jenkins, locked and loaded. Honestly, could be a season keeper if he holds a spot the way he's going. And then Blaze Talangi finally gets a crack. I get the apprehensiveness to not play Talangi if he didn't seem up to scratch, but it's very funny that he hasn't been picked, probably in most part defensive issues, yet Penrith's defense has been pretty woeful to start the season. I think we've got to be honest there. The defensive aspect has gone out the window a little bit for Penrith. So I think it makes sense to give Talangi... I got to be honest, Talangi for me is very high on the watch list. Obviously not going this week or next week for that matter, but... actually, let's have a quick look... Let's have a quick squeeze at Talangi, because he did play the one game, didn't he? So I don't remember. I think he scored actually pretty well in that game. What's he priced at? Yeah, mid 500. Center wing 5'8" dual. He scored, so he's got a break even of 53. Obviously, he's only played the one game, so it's fine. Yeah, he scored 63 and 72 against the Storm. If he looks good this week, I wouldn't mind a little flyer on Talangi. Obviously, there's always going to be a little bit of job security issues just with, he wasn't really... He didn't seem to have much high regards. Like, fuck, they were picking Schneider and Jack Cole over him to start the year, but like Talangi, I think Talangi outside of Cleary, it could be I think it could be a really good combo. I know Talangi's got some issues with his game, but fuck, he is a very talented footballer. So I'm excited to see him go. I think he could score very well this week. I would not be shocked. And I think he could be a very sneaky little pickup next week if it looks like he's going to hold the spot. Mid 500s, obviously, I mean, you could chuck him in your centre wing, but, well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I picked up Jaden Campbell, so, and then I've got Lukey Metcalf. I guess you could just get rid of Metcalf, but I still feel like holding Metcalf is like it's not a terrible idea. So maybe centre wing could be the spot for Talangi. Either or, though, it's a pretty good draw. Obviously, he's not going to have to worry about Origin. But yeah, I'm definitely keen to have a look how Talangi. I mean, I think he'll do well. I think he will do well. It's just a matter of if Penrith look good with him in the side and if they're going to keep him there. But yeah, I always thought he would eventually become very relevant, and it could be soon. Not much else. Dragons Gold Coast. So the big one on the watch there is Dylan Egan, who is. I don't know. I'm very torn on this. I'm not gonna lie. Coming into this week, I was pretty positive I was only going to use one trade. I was definitely not going to use a boost, and I'm still not going to use a boost. There's no shot I'm using a boost. I don't need to. But I think there's definitely a big upgrade to be made, and then it's just a matter of, do I bring in one of these cheapies, the Dylan Egan or Thomas Cairns? And Dylan Egan is very interesting because I think was it last year as well that he was very heavily tipped. Like Flanagan loved him. He was tipped to get a starting back row spot in the side last year. I don't think we heard too much about him this preseason, but he's obviously been on the radar for a while. He looks very good. He's playing. I don't really understand the rotation though. That's my biggest concern. Also, at the moment, Emery Gula is suspended, right? So Gula will come back in a couple of weeks. Blake Laurie would drop out. Now, Laurie's playing literally like 10 to 20 minutes. Like, he may as well not be there. So Gula will come back in and play like 40 to 50 minutes. So there's like 30 minutes, give or take, already out of the rotation with Laurie dropping out, Gula back in. You would, just averaging out. Egan's been coming on, and also Leilua has been getting benched after like 50 minutes, and then Egan's been playing big minutes. I mean, let's have a look. He's been playing big minutes. I think he's starting in the middle and then moving to the edge when Leilua is going off. I genuinely don't really know what to make of it. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know what to think. So yeah, 52 points, 54 minutes, negative 34 break even. He's a goer. He played 49 minutes in round 4 against the Storm for 47 points. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. If it's out of him and Thomas Cairns, I think I still prefer Thomas Cairns, and we'll obviously talk about him more, but it's a real toss of the coin. I mean, I personally don't think. I mean, I don't even think it's worth getting both guys in. I guess if you got a couple of real duds in your second row, then maybe get both of them in. But I don't think it's. I think you go one or the other because, like, again, the money has been so easy to get this year. Like, if you are not rolling in money, you've made some grave mistakes with your team. Like, every cheapie has made a fortune. Yeah, it's been a money-making start to the year. So I think I'm still. I don't even know if I'm going to go one of them, but I think I'm leaning Thomas Cairns just with the uncertainty, but there's every chance like Dylan Egan could eventually overtake Leilua and get a starting spot, but I don't know. The Gold Coast Titans, obviously, Tino is out suspended for a week. It is what it is. I've got the cover, as probably most people do, so it's fine. It is what it is. Most people own Tino at this point, so it is fine. Dave Fafita does move back to the bench, so I'm not surprised. Like, he did not impress last week. He did look a bit unfit. I mean, I thought defensively I thought he did okay defensively. He was a bit aggressive, which I like to see. Just had no impact with ball in hand, which is what you want to see from Fafita. So Cleese Haas back to start, and Beau Fermor obviously moves back to the forward pack as well. So Fafita's still a no-go. Like, I mean, he's going to be a pickup at some point, but fuck, there's no point in getting him yet. Not much else doing there. Broncos, Roosters. So the Broncos, obviously, Piakora out. Actually, I mean, he'd be out with the head knock, but also, did he get a suspension? I don't know. He's definitely out, though. Gazewski is in the back row with Jaden Hunt, with Jordan Ricky still a week to go in his suspension. Adam Reynolds has been named. I mean, every chance they play it very cautious and, give him a week off. Apparently, it's the same thing with the Turbo thing. That apparently there's no actual hamstring injury, but I don't know. They might play it safe. We will see. I mean, there's a few people that own Reynolds. I think if you did, I think you'd probably cash him out at this point. Not much else doing. I mean, the other like Walsh, Arthurs, Shibazaki, all those guys. Versing the Sydney Roosters. So, Sia Wong is going to be a very traded-in guy. I do think it's a bit of chasing last week's points. Like, if you got on Sia Wong a few weeks ago, absolutely. I was talking him up a lot. I really wanted him, but it just never really eventuated. I think now at over 500k, I mean, he's still very good. So, it is chasing a little bit, but yeah, I mean, he could average like 60 for the year. He could be a very, very rock-solid play every week and has the attacking upside. He's got good base. So, you know what? I don't mind the pickup. I'm not going to do it now. It just doesn't feel right. After wanting him when he was like 300 and now missing out on the big ton and also the price rise, I think I'm just going to let it go. The other big one is Nwangani Tawaze is on the extended. So the reports were that Dom Young was going to get the boot, but I think, well, Nwangani Tawaze obviously was out with he had a niggle, some sort of injury. So he's obviously got to prove fitness, and I think there's every chance he replaces Dom Young on the wing. I think that would be that. It makes sense. I would still be a little cautious that it could be a Robert Toya. I don't think Billy Smith's getting dropped, so I think it's still out of Robert Toya, Dom Young. But I think with the performance, I think Toya deserves a spot. I think Dom Young deserves to get dropped. So yeah, keep an eye on late mail, but yeah. Tawaze is coming back in potentially this week. And also Billy Smith is on the bubble, so you don't have to pick him up this week. I mean, you could, if you got no other trades to make, you could go early on Billy Smith, but our cheapy center wings are going to be very juicy to downgrade to Billy Smith pretty soon. I mean, he could be like a keeper if he stays fit, and he's only 300k. It's literally the perfect outcome to be able to downgrade one of these guys and pick up a Billy Smith. So exciting stuff there. Lindsay Collins obviously out injured, so Naf White minutes hopefully go up a little bit. And also Hugo does come in for Chad Townsend. I saw a few people talking about picking up what's his last name? Savala, I think. Yeah, Hugo Savala. He's a 2RF halfback duel, but like, I think there's no reason to pick him up early. I don't like Sam Walker's obviously out still for an extended period, but like, yeah, I don't know. If he looks really good, then sure, if you got one of these dummy halves or even Sanders Smith, you could downgrade and make more money. Like, that's the thing, there's so much money to make. Like, I'm not even really looking at it, but maybe if he looks really good, maybe next week you could look to pick him up. Sharkies, Manly, so not much happening with the Sharks. Obviously, pretty unchanged. I think Talakai came back in, but yeah, not much else. Supercoach wise, like, yeah, they've gone off the boil a bit. They've got the first couple of weeks. I'm like, fuck, I need to get some Sharkies assets in, but like, I think now it's like, no, because if we look, I don't have any Sharks plays. The Sharks had an incredible... I mean, honestly, they've got fucking a dream draw again. Like, the Sharks have been absolutely blessed with the draw the last couple of years. They had a golden run last year, but this one has also been great. They had a great start. Penrith, tough, round 1. Then Cowboys, South, Dogs, Canberra. I mean, fair... granted, Doggies and Canberra actually have been pretty damn good. But then Manly, Newcastle, Tigers, Para... It's still pretty good. Manly, 1 at home, 1 away. Newcastle Tigers, Para, very good. Melbourne Roosters, yeah, I don't know. It's still pretty good. Nico Hines, I think there's just a Storm halfback I'm more tempted in now. And the forward pack, the centre wings, like they're all like too expensive for what they're dishing up, basically. Like they're all at like a peak high, basically, and they're not performing at that, really. So yeah, nothing doing there. Manly, not much changed. It is, I think it's Amole's 100th game, so I would love for him to get a couple in this one and go big, but yeah, not much else. Lehigh looked very good at the fullback. Obviously, they were bad last week against the Storm, but I expect a bounce back. I do expect a bit of a bounce back. It should be a tough game, though, against the Sharkies. But yeah, not much else, Supercoach-wise. I guess the Garrick situation, like a lot of people are considering selling Garrick. I've talked about this. I mean, I don't know. Like, I still think it's a sideways trade to go Garrick to another gun centre winger when the other gun centre winger, like a Herbie, Ero's out injured, Lomax now out injured. Who else is there? I mean, Val Holmes, I guess. Like, there are some options, and I guess if you want to downgrade and make a bunch of cash, but for me, picking up like a Garrick, he was just a season hold. For me, I picked him up at the start of the year to hold throughout the whole season. If he stayed fit, he wasn't going anywhere. You ride a few downs, you ride the ups, he'll average out to be very, very good. Very similar to Val Holmes. Val Holmes slightly different because obviously Origin time, you can obviously take off, you can leverage Holmes's sort of price over Origin a little bit, but Garrick, no Origin. I just think a season hold. But don't let me tell you what to do. If you want to trade him. Like I think it's worth holding, but you can take the ballsy play and trade him off to someone. South Cowboys. So the South, obviously Humphreys, Walker, Ravalawa out, but a couple of Ewan Aiken sort of came from the clouds. I honestly forgot that he went back to Rabbitohs a little bit, but he is back in, which is huge. Honestly, it's huge. I mean, Ewan Aiken, he's not a prime centre like he used to be, but very solid, like rock solid, good defensively, decent attacking wise. Obviously, he's played a lot of time in the back row the last couple of years, but he can still do a job in the centres, which leaves Latrell Mitchell at 5'8", which I definitely wouldn't be touching Latrell Mitchell at 5'8". Like, he's going to get his hands on the footy. I just worry that it's going to be a lot more dishing off. At fullback, he can really just chime in when he wants to, and even centre, he just gets the ball when he wants. But at 5'8", he's going to have to do... I think he'll do a bulk of the kicking again, which I think is not good. I think he's a decent kicker. Like, he's got a big boot on him, but you don't want Latrell Mitchell to have the responsibility of that in your Supercoach side. So I definitely wouldn't be picking him up at 5'8", but dude, can you imagine if he played instead of centre wing dual fullback, if he played 3 games at 5'8" and then a 5'8" dual fullback, I'd much rather pick up Latrell at 5'8" than centre, if I'm honest. I mean, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, but it would be lovely having him at 5'8". But we'll see. He could. It'd be so funny if you played centre last week, 5'8" this week, centre next week, and then he went back to fullback, so he doesn't get a duel. I would find that very funny. But yeah, not much else doing. Obviously, Lockie Hubner for all of us who obviously have him. He's going to make some good cash. And then the Cows. The Cows, still... I'm still looking at Nanai. I'm still Nanai is still... Let's have a look. I mean, I'm not going him because he's still on the bench, but every time he comes on, I feel like he's looking better and better. I think it's just a matter of time before he gets the start. He's going to be so cheap. What is he priced at? He's 500k. He's looking really good. I'm expecting, surely soon he gets the starting spot. Maybe for the whole year they start O'Donnell and Bateman and just bring Nanai off the bench, but I think he could still be a go at some point, but we'll see on that one. Yeah, still on the peripherals for sure. Then who have we got? Not much else doing for the Cows. Obviously, I hope it's a bit of a factor. Do I play Purdue this week? I don't know. We'll have a look at that. Then Parramatta Raiders. So obviously, Lomax is a late out, so the team list will change. Semrani could be the guy to come in, but Bailey Simonson is also expected back soon, so he could come in. Not much else doing. I mean, I don't think it doesn't impact Iongi that much, but it is a bit of a downer just because without Lomax, the Eels are going to be even worse. So it is going to be tougher for Iongi, but yeah, I'm still obviously holding Iongi. And then Canberra, pretty much locked and loaded. The question mark is still around Tommy Starling, and I guess the South, like Mamazula, Starling, we'll talk more about that. Melbourne Warriors, so Melbourne, couple of players looking very, very juicy. Papenhuyzen obviously named. It wasn't a hammy injury, so he is good to go. Amy Park, it's Sunday Arby game. It's quite the scary game. Not owning some Melbourne players, but we could rectify that pretty quickly this week. And then the Warriors, I mean, the only Warrior I really am interested in now is Metcalf. Obviously not playing him and don't expect him to score well, but again, I think I'm pretty happy holding for now. I mean, if Talangi does come out and kill it, then the Metcalf to Talangi could be on, or a centre winger, but we'll see. And then Newcastle Tigers, what's his face? Cogger is out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Ponga goes. Hopefully he just gets fucking involved a bit more. I'm still very happy with Greg Marju. Thomas Cant is in the back row with Kai Pearce-Paul. Adam Elliott also out injured, and Frizzell at lock. So Cant. We'll talk about him. And then the Tigers, not much else doing there. Ladu Fainu, unfortunately injured. But I think, Luai's back from suspension, right? But yeah, so let us talk about what are we doing? Mamazula's, Starling, and even Sanders Smith to an extent. But I think Smith he's a longer term hold for now. One, he's 100k less than these guys, so he's got a decent amount more money to make. And I think basically holding Smith until Sam Walker comes back just seems like the play. He'll lose the goal kicking, even though you never know. I mean, with Walker back, maybe Sanders Smith, his attack goes to another level. They score a lot more points. You never know. I think regardless, holding him, and also just the ability to switch him with hooker and halfback is just very handy for now. But that leaves Starling, Mamazula. So it is It's a tricky one because they're both, they're both similar price. They're both, Starling's peaked. Mamazoulis is going to make a bit more cash, but they're both they could both end up around that 450k mark pretty quickly. Starling playing now 50 minutes, 50, 55, but looks incredible. Looks really good. Looks so good. It's doing my head in. It's doing my head in that he's not playing more than 50 minutes now. He's really dropped back, but he's still scoring well because he's got that attack. Mamazul is locked in for 80 minutes, but nowhere near the attacking threat. He does have a 94 in there, and a 64 for that matter, but I guess the question here is would you rather Starling 50 minutes at worst, 50 minutes for Starling, or 80 minutes of Mamazoulis? And it's part of it's okay, 80 minutes for Mamazoulis. He's gonna have more base, but is he? He doesn't even. He sort of does some games. He makes a lot of tackles, but he doesn't really run the ball at all. He has on average probably one run, maybe two a game. The first couple of weeks he had no runs. And then you'd be 80 minutes, you get more chance of an attacking stat, but I think Starling in 50 minutes has more chance of an attacking stat than Mamazoulis in 80 minutes. So I think I'm leaning towards selling Mamazoulis over Starling. I think I am. I think I'm leaning towards that. Again, we don't have to do it this week. Mamazoulis, 39 break even. I don't expect him to hit it or not hit it. I don't know. He could get 40. He could get 35. If he jags an attacking stat, obviously he'll go over. But I'm not expecting any major money gains here. Starling has 70? No, only 55 break even. What is it loading? Hello? Hello, Supercoach. What are you doing? Okay, so he's only got a 55 break even. They are taking on the Eels. So again, I'd rather play Starling in this one. Who do the Bunnies play again? Honestly, Mamazoulis against the Cowboys is also pretty tempting, but I'd probably rather Starling against the Eels. They're a bit of a shamble through the middle. He could run right. That's why I would love Starling for the back end of a game, dude, because tied forwards, he's so damaging. He's so good out of dummy half. I get giving the young guy some minutes, but boy, oh boy, how are you not putting him back on with 10 minutes to go or something? I would honestly rather if Starling played the first 30 minutes and then Owen Paddy comes on 10 minutes in the first half and then 10 minutes after half time, 10-15, and then Starling plays the remaining 20-25 minutes. That would be fucking perfect. Still plays basically the same amount of minutes, 50-55, but he gets to go on at the back end of the game and cause some trouble. I think that would be so much better. It would be better for Supercoach. And also for footy, I think that would work better as well, but what do I know? And yeah, they got a pretty good, they got a really good draw, the Raiders coming up. Melbourne Bulldogs, tough couple of games there, but Para, Gold Coast Dolphins, Gold Coast again, New Zealand in the bye, Roosters after it. I think Starling's a hold. I think that's what I'm leaning towards at the moment. The other big query is Thomas Cant versus Dylan Egan. So before I get into that, what I'm thinking is obviously bringing in a Storm commodity. We need to get some, and the big ones now: Ali Katoa in the back row, Jerome Hughes at halfback. So if we go Hughes, obviously Mamazoulis to Hughes, we can do very easily with the money in the bank. Sandon Smith slots back up to dummy half. It also means we can play Sandon Smith over Starling if Starling's got a tough matchup. Don't mind taking the potential upside of Smith. And then we have Hughes and Cleary combo, right? We don't have to go on Hughes straight away though. So if we look at Hughes, he's got a big break even. Well, actually no. Let's just look at the Storm in general. That might be easier. Let's just look at the Storm. We can look at Eli Katoa with I was just curious to see like Brown and stuff. So Brown, even Moses when he's back. Sean Lane, fucking 460. Okay, that's fine. I should have gone back to front. I do this every time. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, Jerome Hughes sitting at 780. Scored very well. He did go off early. He was icing that hand a little bit. I'm not concerned about the hand because, like, he did come back early from it, but he was obviously right to go. They wouldn't have risked him. It was just a bit of precautionary action, taking him off. There was no need for him to play the last, 10 minutes or whatever. But he's still got a 96 break even. He's every chance to hit it. He is every chance to hit it, but the question is, he only played 60 minutes in the first game too. He is a notorious early shower guy, isn't he? That does sort of give you a bit of pause. It is annoying that if they're flogging, he does come off first rank. That's quite annoying, I will say, because that 70 could easily turn into a ton with 20 minutes to go. So it's a little bit annoying, I will say. So yeah, 96 break even for Hughes, every chance to hit it. Eli Katoa, similar price, a little bit cheaper. He's got a 59 break even. I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna. I could go both potentially. But if I'm going one, I actually think Eli Katoa for me is the priority this week over Jerome Hughes. I think Eli Katoa is just as likely. I guess put it this way, if Jerome Hughes kills it, Eli Katoa is also going to kill it. I think they work very well. Eli Katoa, he's got, he's a back rower. He's got the base. He's got that attacking upside to his game. He's not going to let you down. Jerome Hughes, if they have a bit of a shocker, Hughes could have a lower game. I actually do think Katoa is the play this week if you're only going one. You can have another look at Hughes. Eli Katoa, he's going to be a keeper for sure. Hughes probably is as well, but yeah, you can hold off. I think, yeah, looking at it, I do think Katoa is the play if we're going to go the Storm asset. It'd be nice to get both in, but I don't think we don't need to do that straight off rip. They do have a very good draw coming up, but yeah, I think Katoa is the way to go. The other question mark is the 2RF cheapies. Again, I did talk about it, but I think I am in the Thomas Cant camp. Just with the uncertainty, I think Egan could still punch out 50s, but there's a couple of factors to Cant. Now, there's again, he'll make money quicker for one. He is a little bit more expensive as well. What's he? He's not bottom dollar. He's 270. Yeah, it's 270k. So he's not actually bottom dollar. But the dude is a monster. The stats are unbelievable. He scored 88 and most of that in base, and then 62, and that was playing at center. The kid's a freak. I think he's very good. Now, obviously, when Dylan Lucas comes back, I do fully expect Cam to go back to the bench. But there's a couple of things here, right? So I'll bring up, obviously in past seasons, having a guy like Cam, and a great example of this is Joe Chan, right? Now, Joe Chan obviously wasn't scoring like Thomas Cant, but Joe Chan, cheapy at the start of last year, starting in the back row, had a couple okay scores, but then went back to the bench and just stunk it up, right? Like, wasn't getting the minutes, scores were bad, and it was bad. It was not good because of the AE problem, right? If you ever wanted to loop, you would get like a Joe Chan score, like a 10 to 20 point score in your AE spot, right? That was always the problem in previous seasons. If a guy ended up going back to the bench and started scoring poorly, but this year, with the inclusion of the flex, it makes that type of situation a lot less of a problem, because you already have 18 players. If you loop, you don't get you're not going to get that real bad AE anyway. You're going to get a better score regardless. So it's nowhere near as bad. Like, the worst case scenario, in a couple of weeks, Thomas Cant comes back. Not Thomas Cant. Dylan Lucas comes back, and Cant goes back to the bench, plays limited minutes off the bench, scores poorly. It's not going to really affect it too much, right? You can get off him as well. Obviously, you can trade him. He's going to make cash very quickly. I think the other factor, so we don't know when Lucas is back. Obviously, if Lucas is coming back like in round 7 next week, then you're not going to go Cant, I think. But if Lucas is not tipped to be back till like round 8, they then travel to New Zealand against the Warriors. A guy coming back from a decently lengthy spell off with a hemi, like, would you just give him another week off, not traveling to and from New Zealand? So best case scenario, we could get 1, 2, 3 price rises, and he'd make a ton of cash. And the other big factor here is that I think he's really good. So he wouldn't, I don't know what the rotation would be, obviously, but like, surely he would play some decent minutes off the bench. Or even if he was out of the team completely, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because then he can just sit there, and if there was any injury to a backline or a second rower, he could be next man off the chopping block. Like, he played center. If there's a backline injury, he could come straight in. If there's a back row injury, he comes straight in, scores great, makes more money. I'm leaning towards Thomas Cant. And the other factor is Dylan Lucas. So Dylan Lucas, I was like, I'm going to be bringing in Lucas. I could have just kept it the second row. That's fine. I was going to be bringing Lucas in basically when he is fit, right? When Lucas is back from the hemi, I was going to bring him straight back in. It does make it a little bit trickier now, because it's a lengthy injury. Like, it's a decent hemi strain, so he's gone for a decent chunk, right? So it's going to be a little concerning to bring him straight back in when he's back. But the problem is that he's got an 18 break even. He's played 2 games and he's killed it. So the next game he plays would be the time you want to bring him back in, but it is very nerve-wracking to bring a guy straight back in after a hemi. So it's gonna be a tricky one. But I guess what you could do is Lucas comes back, Thomas Cant goes to the bench, right? So Lucas obviously going to make money. He'll probably make a good amount of money. You would hope Thomas Cant still has a low break even, and hopefully he plays decent minutes off the bench. I'm not expecting it to even out, but Thomas Cant could make a decent amount of money. Lucas probably more, and then all of a sudden next week, Lucas looks good. You could trade Thomas Cant straight back to Dylan Lucas. Obviously, it's not going to be a 1-for-1 trade. He's not going to make that much money, but again, the money situation, you should have a lot of money. There's easy ways to make money this year in Supercoach, so I think going Cant back to Lucas after he's made his cash could be the play. It could be the play, because obviously Lucas is dual second row 2RF. You could bring Lucas in the 2RF, and then at a later time, you could then trade Lucas down into your center wing and trade one of these guys to somebody. So that's why I'm leaning towards Thomas Cant now. I think he's gonna just the fact he's also he's such a good play. I would 100% play him. He is an absolute monster. So he would be straight in, he'd score good points, he'd make great cash, and then if worst case scenario happens and he's going to get very few minutes off the bench, leak cash, then the week after Lucas is back, you give him a week, then just trade Thomas Cant straight back up to Dylan Lucas. I think it works out pretty well like that. I was always going to bring in Lucas straight away basically anyway. This way it does... Again, it uses one more trade because you're going to Cant first and then going back to Lucas, but I think it's worth it. I do think the extra trade is worth it in this situation. Yeah, I'm not 100% sold. I could change my mind, but I think that is what I am leaning towards doing. It will be a question of who do I trade? Because I'm looking at it. Well, no, it's fine. I was looking and I'm because we don't... Well, no, I do want to go Katoa. That's the thing. So, who do we trade? Oh, no. Well, that's actually thrown a little bit of a spinner in the works because I've got... Yeah, that has actually thrown me a little bit. Obviously, Gula is a certainty, and we could go Gula straight to Alikatoa, but that uses a lot of cash, obviously. And then if we're getting in Cant, who do we trade? We're not trading Tino. We're not trading Horsburgh. He's punching out 60s, easy. Nicholson, no, he's just come off a 90. Simpkins... no, we wouldn't. I don't think we'd even have the money to do that. If we did, we could. If we did have the money, we could do that. I don't. It'd be close, actually. You could. I mean, I don't mind. I still like having the enough there. We can switch around if we do need to loop and stuff. If there's no buys or whatever. So, I don't know. We might or might not. Lockie Hubner, we're not trading. Olaquatu, no. Terrell May, no. Payne Haas, no. It could be Naf White. I know Lindsay Collins is now out, but I think Naf White has, he's a really solid option, but at the end of the day, I think he's more going to sit around that 50, 55, 55 topping out as 60 average, which he's doing now. He's going to make a bit more cash, but the attacking stats are not, no, I don't think they're going to come that quickly, and he's still not getting massive minutes. So I don't hate getting rid of Naf White. It would also free up a heap of cash then again that we could then obviously do a lot with the week after. So yeah, I don't know. We'll talk more about that in the pre-lockout video. We'll go through more of that, but I think that's what we're... Yeah, I don't know, a couple of options. And then obviously the week after, Jerome Hughes would come in. I guess you still... I mean, we'll have a quick look at them. Because who are people going? Most straight out of my team. So yeah, people are getting off Starling. Metcalf, they held on to. Arthur's... I don't know. I mean, I get the Arthur's play, but I'm happy to hold. Kalen Ponga, people are trading out Ponga, 2%. He's looking bad, but I wouldn't be trading him. If you held him or obviously brought him in like I did last week, I would be trading. And then Tino, you're trading out Tino. I mean, he's suspended for a week. You're probably going to want to get him back in, but I don't know. Thomas Cant. Obviously, Ian, Dylan Egan, Munster, Hughes, and Ellie. So, yeah, people are going the big Stormers. But I guess the halfbacks. It's still... I mean, it's out of Hughes and... Hughes and Hines. I've seen like quite a few people potentially trade Hines for Hughes, which again, I don't actually, no, I do hate that. I think that's a terrible trade. Like, I know Hughes is killing it, but like Hines is like I would not do Hines to Hughes. I couldn't get around it. I could not get around it. Like, I'm still like somewhat tempted to go Hines over Hughes. Call me fucking crazy, but like I still am. If we look, so Hines should have he's got a massive break even, but he does have the potential to hit it. He hasn't really shown it yet, but he can go big. He does play the first bye, which again, like I'm reminding myself that you don't, getting a lot of numbers in for the first buy is not priority, but getting the guys that can go big in the buys is a big priority. And obviously also looking at the games after the buys, also if there's like Origin restings, this and that. That's why like I am less inclined to go like Origin players. I know my forward pack is stocked with Origin forwards, so it could be a little dicey, as most people's are. But yeah, like the backup games are also going to be a little bit tricky with the minor buys and also Origin players potentially not backing up. But yeah, Hines versus Hughes. I mean, Hines is averaging the same as Hughes, right? Does Hughes have like a really low score in here? No? Like, he got 50 against Penrith, but he doesn't have like an injury game where he only got like 2 points, right? So he's averaging 70, which is great, but Hines is also averaging the same, and he's now going to be substantially cheaper. He's going to be far less owned. He's also a goal kicker. I gotta be honest, like I don't have to worry about it this week because again, I'm prioritizing Ali Katoa over Hughes. If I was going this week, it would be Jerome Hughes. But I still think long-term Hines, like, I still do, dude. Like, they've got, I don't know what to think about, like, they could put a score on Manly. I don't know what Manly going to dish up, but then Newcastle, West, Parramatta, Manly, and then Melbourne, then the Roosters. I don't know. Am I crazy? So Hughes is, I mean, he's very pottish. I'm very interested to see what happens after this week. with Hines/Hughes. Can we see? We should be able to see. How do you look at ownership, like, because I do have Supercoach Gold or whatever it is. How do you look at ownership in the, like, the top percent? Oh, here you go. So let's have a look. So that's all. Let's go top 10. Okay, I didn't really need it like that, but that's fine. So Hines, I mean, Hines is still 50% in the top 10%. Hughes is 7.7 in the top 10%. Okay, fair enough. I mean, okay. Surely it'll, like, yeah, I'm very curious to see at, like, the end of, like, before, like, after lockout this week, and then obviously next week, to see how much this changes, because are many people actually trading Hines to Hughes? Again, in the top 5%, very similar. Hines up a little bit, Hughes similar, and then the top 1%. Surprisingly, how many of, like, the top echelon has Hines? I mean, more have Cleary for sure, but Hines is very, very popular still. So the top 1%, more people have Hughes at the moment. So I'm keen. But I'm not going to lie, I'm still thinking maybe Hines over Hughes next week, but we'll cross that bridge when we come. I don't hate just going Hughes. Like, It's just, I don't know. I've never owned Hughes, and it's just the fact, like, I don't know. Something about him. Like, I love him. I love him as a player. He does give me the shit sometimes because he is a fucking diver. Like, he's like one of the worst in the comp for milking shit, and it does fucking piss me off sometimes. But I do love watching him play, and I think he's great. But just without the goal kicking, it's always a little bit. It's always a put off to me. You throw in Hines, who can score the same, but then have the like. If Hines was like 100k dearer, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to have a look next week, but that is going to be the preview for this round. Obviously, we got a bit to talk about in the pre-lockout. We'll go through that in the next video. I didn't do like a actual teams video in this one. I thought we might change it up a little bit. I think I'll do that in future now as well. Like, I'll go through the major ins and out, but we'll talk more about like players and also like what we're looking at doing, and then we'll do another pre-lockout. I'll go through my trades, sit starts, captain, vice captains, all that good stuff, and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one for the pre-lockout video. See you guys then.